I'd like to tell you about Alex, a student who was referred to the clinic where I work. Alex was a high school senior who had been identified as gifted as a young girl. Alex was struggling in many of her classes, in particular her history and English classes, where the reading was taking forever and she couldn't seem to focus on the words. Alex's struggles were causing her to become anxious, confused, depressed, and wondering if she should go to college. I provided Alex with a comprehensive neuropsychological assessment, and what I found is that Alex was indeed gifted. However, she also struggled with individual word reading. It was very paradoxical. Alex could understand the context of what she was reading, but still misread many of the words. What we call this is stealth dyslexia. What that means is that the typical signs of dyslexia are hidden or under the radar. What we know about this confusing display of gifts and disabilities is that they tend to counteract each other. So these students tend to look more average in the classroom. And students like Alex are sometimes thought of as lazy or unmotivated. But you see, gifted kids sometimes have a way of masking their poor reading abilities, especially when they're really young. So sometimes they just don't have the skills to fully master reading, and these skills are really critical because they'll need it when the reading material becomes much harder. So how do we find these kids who are gifted with dyslexia? Well, we need to sharpen our radar device. My study took a look at different groups of kids who are gifted with dyslexia, gifted only, and dyslexia only. And what I did was compare the reading scores across these three groups and to answer the question, could we find a pattern that would help us identify the kids who are gifted with dyslexia? What I found is what researchers have long suspected. The kids who are gifted with dyslexia had reading comprehension scores that are very high, and scores of individual word reading were very low. But on average, their reading scores were right in the middle, which makes them look very stealthy. So as you can see, this is one clue that helps sharpen our identification criteria for the gifted with dyslexia kids. Every year, thousands of kids languish in elementary schools because they're not fully identified, either with giftedness or with a disability. So my research helps educators and psychologists fine-tune these criteria to help sharpen our radars and find these gifted with dyslexia kids to get the help and support they need. Thank you.